As we intimated earlier, and as Mark Foley can testify to, Senator Craig's impact may spread far beyond Idaho, affecting the presidential election. Gay issues, indeed, nationally. Joining us now from the radio network Air America, Rachel Maddow, whose show airs weeknights on that network. Rachel, as always, good evening, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Keith.
We mentioned earlier that Craig is no longer part of the Romney campaign team. Here's what the senator had to say about the governor before today.
Knowing Governor Mitt Romney is knowing somebody who first and foremost has very strong family values. That's something I grew up with and believe in.
Mark Foley, family values. Pastor Haggard, family values. Here we have Senator Craig, family values. Is it time to assume when a politician invokes that phrase, they're compensating for something in their own lives?
Well, you know, it's Mark Foley, Republican Congressman Mark Foley of Florida. It's Republican Congressman Duke Cunningham of San Diego. It's Republican Senator David Vitter of Louisiana. It's the president of the National Association of Evangelicals, Ted Haggard. It's John McCain's Florida campaign co-chair, Bob Allen. It's the Bush White House aide czar, Randall Tobias. And now it's Republican Idaho Senator Larry Craig. So I think the safest, most conservative way to respond to that is to say that everybody who demagogues on the issue of family values, except for those guys, is definitely totally pure as the driven snow and isn't throwing stones from a glass house at all. Those guys obviously are the only exceptions, and everybody else is kosher.
Conservative with a small c. Mitt Romney was asked today by Larry Kudlow on CNBC whether Senator Craig should resign. I want to play you his answer, and then you can assess whether or not there's a double standard at work in here.
I don't know the circumstances right now of his setting, and so I really can't make that call without having reviewed it. Larry, I will review that, and we'll give you a call on that. I certainly felt that Bill Clinton shouldn't have stayed in office.
Clinton? Again? Really? How does this work? Parse this for us, Rachel, please.
Well, Mitt Romney is in a little bit of a spot because he's running for the Republican nomination, and he has to be really, really, really anti-gay in order to compensate for being the governor of same-sex marriage Massachusetts if he wants to win over the Republican base and win the Republican nomination. And so Mitt Romney's in this spot where, on the one hand, he could just throw Larry Craig under the bus, which I think is what he's going to do. If he doesn't do that, he ends up standing with Larry Craig through this awkward series of denials, however implausible, that Larry Craig appears to be mounting as his strategy here. I mean, if I were Mitt Romney and those were my choices, I too would probably retreat to the very comfortable political ground of blaming Bill Clinton.
You mentioned the implausibility factor. Why pick the fight with the newspaper? He said without a shred of evidence, there's a lot of evidence. You may not like the anonymity of the sources here, but this man has been answering questions like these since the congressional page scandals of 1982. What is the psychology and what are the political psychologies of pulling a Gary Hart I double dare you against the media?
That's exactly what this is, and you identified that correctly. This is the exact wrong strategy to take if you really do want to try to weather this as a storm. I mean, if I were the Gay Scandal Getting Out of Advice Incorporated, if I were trying to give him some advice on how to get out of this, I would say do anything except flat out deny that you were ever gay and had ever done anything like this, because all it takes is one incident among the so many of them that have been alleged against Larry Craig. All it takes is for one of them to be proven, and he's absolutely, positively sunk.
Rachel Maddow of Air America, as always, great thanks for your time, my friend.
Thank you, Keith.